Hi, this is Steve Spiker, and I want to tell you a little bit about a guide I've put together for the Capital Area Greenway system in Raleigh, North Carolina. The Greenway system is a really great resource, and the maps provided by Raleigh Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Resources provide almost all the information you'll need to enjoy the trails. I say almost because in a few instances, I, and many people I've talked to, have had trouble with a couple of things. The first is finding the parking addresses that are shown on the maps and provide access to the trails. The second is that some of the trails are interrupted, and finding where the trails pick up again after the interruptions is not always straightforward. A quick look at the guide I've put together before starting out to walk, run, or bike an unfamiliar trail on the Greenway should solve these problems and prevent frustrations. This video explains briefly how to access and use the guide. I've called my guide the Greenway Walker's Home Companion, but it should be of use to any walkers, runners, or bike riders who are setting out to use an unfamiliar Greenway trail. It's in the form of a PDF on Google Drive, and the link to the PDF is on this page. You can keystroke in the link, but I have included the link in the description of this video on YouTube. You can just copy the link and paste it into your browser to get the PDF. Note that the companion contains internal links that make it much easier to navigate. To use these links, the companion must be read in a PDF reader. The most straightforward way to do this is to just download the file. When you click on the link to the guide, this is what you'll see in Google Drive. Just click on Download here, and something like this will be at your download site. Open the file and you'll see the first page of the Greenway Walker's Home Companion. Scroll down to the second page, General Table of Contents. The first item in the General Table of Contents is a more detailed description of what the companion is and why I put it together. The second item is a discussion of the three maps I used to compile the guide, the 2014 and 2018 versions of the Capital Area Greenway Systems maps and Google Maps. The next two items are tables of contents for parking addresses and for trails and connectors, the major parts of the companion. Parking addresses will help you and your GPS get to the sometimes elusive parking addresses to access the trails. Trails and connectors will help you solve the mysteries of the disappearing trails. That is, help you find where interrupted trails are continued. The next item is a list of the trails in the Greenway system with the parking addresses found along each trail. Note that this information can also be found as a part of the Greenway system's maps, but it's a little more concise here. And the last item are PDFs of the 2014 and 2018 versions of the Capital Area Greenway Systems map. You can pick up a hard copy of the 2018 map at the Raleigh City Hall or request one by calling 919-996-3285. I'll give you a quick example here of what's in the companion. If you're on the General Table of Contents and you want to go to the Table of Contents for parking addresses, just click on the link and there you'll be. The table of contents lists all 97 of the parking addresses shown on both the 2014 and the 2018 version of the Capital Area Greenway Systems maps, plus a few that I've added. There's some preliminary information with each entry. This includes the trail associated with the parking address, the actual street address, but note that the street addresses are provided in the 2014 map but not in the 2018 map. The information given here also includes whether the parking is in a parking lot or just on the street. And in parentheses, a comment about the parking address. The most common comment is "no problems," meaning that your GPS will get you to the parking address with no problems. But there are problems associated with some of the parking addresses. For example, the first parking address is listed as 120 12088 Falls of Noose Road in Wake Forest. Both the city and the street are in error. Setting your GPS to 12088 Old Falls of the Noose Road in Raleigh will get you close. But even then, finding the actual parking lot requires some hunting. Finding that first parking address is a little too involved to include in this video, but I'd like to show you a more simple example of a parking address that's a problem finding with a GPS. The example I'll use here is parking address 15. So just scroll down to parking address 15. You can see that the parking address on the 2014 map is listed as 4402 Lindsay Drive in a parking lot, but that there is a minor problem in finding the lot. To see the problem, click on the link, and this will bring you to the first page of the discussion on parking address 15. Your GPS will take you to the location of the red pin, 4402 Lindsay Drive, but note that this is north of Oak Park Road and that the parking lot for parking address 15 at the yellow arrow is south of Oak Park Road. That's only about a block away, but the signage for the lot can't be seen from the site of the red pin, so you'd have to do a bit of looking. Let me just note here that this is an example of the dilemma faced by the makers of the Greenway Systems maps. They could have listed an address on Oak Park Road that would have been closer to the actual parking lot and from which the signage for the actual parking lot could be easily seen. But that might have been confusing because the lot itself doesn't have an address, but it actually is on Lindsay Drive, not on Oak Park Road. To go on with the discussion about parking address 15, this first page tells you enough so that you can find the parking lot. The second page shows you a bit of the 2014 map and photos of the parking lot and the entrance to the trail. Okay, I hope I've given you enough of a taste of what's in the Greenway Walker's Home Companion. I'll conclude this video with a shot of this bridge on the Sims Branch Trail. If you've ever had difficulties finding a Greenway Systems parking address, or wondered how to pick up the continuation of a Greenway trail that seems to have abruptly disappeared, I hope you'll find the Greenway Walker's Home Companion a useful tool in solving these problems. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please feel free to email me at greenwaywalkercompanion@gmail.com.